just being down 2-1 in a championship series like we've been here before, and we can rely on our experience.
Last couple of questions. We'll go to Anthony back right.
Anthony Slater, The Athletic. What do you think was the problem on the glass tonight?
Just, I don't know, probably not not boxing out. Maybe just, I mean, they did have way too many second chance points. It's hard to beat a team when that happens. And I give ourselves credit though for fighting back, taking the lead. It just sucks when you let that one slip away like that.
Last question to Connor.
Connor Letourneau, San Francisco Chronicle. Clay, Draymond called himself soft tonight. How confident are you that he's going to bounce back and have a strong game 4? And how does it affect you guys when he's not necessarily at his best?
I have all the confidence in the world in Draymond Green. I consider him a brother, and we've been at the mountaintop together and played in big battles. So as long as I see him and 30 and Andre and with our young bucks, I just really think we're going to have a great night Friday night. Yeah. Yes.
Thanks, Clay.
Okay.
First question for Al. First row, second seat. Left side down.
Clay Manning, CLNS Media. Al, do you have a feel for why you guys are dropping as much as you were there in that third quarter? And what was the adjustment going into the fourth to try to counteract the shooting they were getting over you there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to, look at it on film a little bit more. In the game, I felt like I wasn't up enough as I needed to be, and Steph got some really clear looks there, and really hurt us with that. And then, we gave up some kick out threes that hurt us. But I definitely put some of those on me, and I need to be better in those positions.
Second row on the right.
Natacha Peña, abriendo el juego, República Dominicana. Al, ¿qué ajustes sientes que pudieron lograr en el día de hoy con relación al juego 2 que dio esta magnífica victoria?
Sí, yo creo que la clave fue el mejor movimiento del balón y el espacio. Yo siento que en el juego 2 no estábamos en los lugares que teníamos que estar ofensivamente, y en este juego pudimos abrir la cancha un poco más y mover el balón mejor, atacar, y cuando atacábamos, si no teníamos nada en el aro, la estábamos sacando muy bien, y yo creo que esa fue la diferencia esta noche.
Hey, Al.
Fourth row, Tim
Yeah,
Bontemps.
two things quick. First, just you mentioned it before, thinking you were up or not up enough. What are the challenges that Steph presents in trying to guard him in these pick and rolls where, obviously you come out on the one, he gets you on the 4-point play, and then the next time you drop back and eats a three. Just kind of how difficult is it to try to navigate how to handle him on a play-by-play basis?
Yeah, no, it's definitely very challenging. I have to, just continue to learn and look at it on film and see how I can better, and just to give more support to Marcus and Derek and the guys that have to guard him up there. And yeah, when I was up on that one, I thought I was there, and just very, very tough shot, made it, and yeah. So for me, I just have to be better, and I look forward to Friday.
And you guys obviously have struggled in these third quarters, but even when they went up there 83-82 on that Steph three, you guys have a good close of that quarter. You come back, you start the fourth quarter strong, you completely turn the game around. What allowed you guys to be able to respond like that after they obviously, kind of sucked the life out of things with that run?
Yeah, I felt like our team really stayed poised in those moments. As you know, earlier in the year, they could have gone south quickly. And the other thing was the energy from our fans was just contagious. I felt it going into just before when I did my shooting slot an hour and a half before the game, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, no, it's going to be different tonight. And they stayed with us even through that, because sometimes, things can get shaky, but we stayed right with it, and just locked in, and then panic and just continue to play.
Second row on the left.
Yeah, Shane Young with Forward Sports. Just how much of a security blanket is Rob back there in helper situations, or just, if you have to step up on a drive, that he's there at the rim?
He's a game changer. Rob is really a game changer. We're very fortunate to have a guy like that impacts winning in the way that he does, because it's beyond the numbers with him. It's just all the things that he brings, being in the right places. I've been so impressed with Rob, just his ability to just continue to get better and learn. He learns. We talk to him. I feel like we can ask a lot of him, and he always, takes it in, figures it out, and it's better. But his stuff goes beyond the box score, the impact that he has on the game.
Second row on the right.
Nicole Cepeña desde República Dominicana, ¿cómo te sientes, cómo describes este momento? No solo por ser el primer dominicano en unas finales de la NBA, sino también por tu primera final y recibir aquí en el TD Garden esta victoria. ¿Y qué ajustes habría que hacer? Porque ganaron, pero bien pegadito. ¿Qué ajustes consideras que hay que hacer para los próximos juegos?
Sí, primeramente orgulloso porque represento, yo sé lo que represento, y yo sé que la gente está muy contenta ya. Y entiendo que, como tú dijiste, sí, el juego estuvo bien cerrado, y defensivamente tenemos que continuar jugando mejor y tratando de limitar esos tiros de tres de Curry y de Thompson también, porque que de verdad que son muy difíciles ellos defenderlos. Y estamos haciendo el trabajo, pero tenemos que hacer aún mejor trabajo para tener chance.
Brandon, can you translate?
We're going to take two more questions. Sixth row on the left.
I don't know what he
Hey,
said.
Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com. We've been here before and asked you guys how you're going to follow up a win with another great performance. So in your estimation here, what do you guys need to do to maintain what you did tonight and carry that into Game 4?
We have to be able to keep the same focus that we have, and it's something that tomorrow we need to have good team session, and continuing to prepare, and understand that there are things that we need to improve on in order for ourselves to have a chance on Friday.
Last question, fifth row on the left.
Sorry, Mike, I have two. Number one, and I don't want to get you in trouble, but what went through your mind when that foul on Steph was raised to a flagrant?
Well, it happens. I understand. It's an emphasis. Trying to protect the shooters. I understand that, and I felt like it was a good contest, but maybe I didn't let him land. So that's it's something that it's hard. When you have a guy playing that fast and you're trying to contest and things happen. I'm glad he's fine. But yeah, I mean, it was a fair call.
And then how do you guys, you're so good at bouncing back after losses. How do you take this win and come out in Game 4?
Yeah, just, like I said earlier, just really have that mindset of we need to really, look at this film and really find ways to get better, and, get prepared as quick as we can, because it is a quicker turnaround, and, Friday will be here, and we got to be ready to go.
Thank you, Al.
All right. We can start picking up. All right. Welcome in, everybody. This is Locked In Golden State Warriors podcast. I'm Brian Ferino. Joined by me is my co-host, Jordan Medeiros, and we have special guests Chris Polo, Mr. Cory himself, sports fanatic, Bashar, 49er minded, tough loss. That was a little bit of the post-game interview from everybody, both sides. You guys,
what happened?
Let's talk about it.
terrible
We got
effort on the
outplayed.
rebounds. The effort on this is the first game they really got beat on the glass. Like it was pretty even, games 1 and 2. The effort just wasn't there on the glass. At least it wasn't at least matched the way that Boston came ready to get on the glass. I mean, it just felt like every loose ball, every 50-50 ball, the Celtics were going to come up with it. They were on top of everything. I was disappointed by Draymond's hustle tonight.
Oh my God.
It just looked
Lack
kind
of
of
hustle.
more similar to game 1 in terms of energy. And also, and we were just talking about this in the space, Kevon Looney needs to be on the floor if Robert Williams is on the floor. Like in that fourth quarter, Kevon Looney should have been playing. So Kevon Looney actually played the least amount of minutes in this game, in this entire series. And this is the one game they got beat badly on the glass. I don't think, like, I'm not going to say that Kevon Looney 100% would have just completely flipped that script, but I think that could have at least helped you in those situations where they're just getting these second chance opportunities. I mean, they were just getting pummeled in the paint. Game 1, they had 26 points in the paint. They lost. They had 26 points in the paint tonight. They lost. They had 24 in the paint in game 2 just at halftime. So they're not getting to the basket enough. They're not playing as tough as they need to. They're not matching that level of physicality. Until they do that, this is just going to keep happening. And it was still a close game at one point, but you know, when Steph Curry started to go a little bit colder, got a little bit tougher to continue that success he was having. Klay Thompson started to tighten up on offense for him, so he had to take a few more contested shots. Jordan Poole only had 10 points tonight. You got to get on the glass. If you don't win on the glass, you're not going to win games.
Yeah. Corey, you want to piggyback off of that?
I just mentioned it in our private chat there. It just seemed like they were allowing Boston to be that much more aggressive on the defensive side of the ball. Marcus Smart jumps on top of Curry again. Of course, no call. There was just a handful of questionable calls there. You get Curry in foul trouble early, taking him out of the game. And they didn't shoot well. The problem that I see with Golden State right now is that they're still too reliant on the outside shot. They need to be more aggressive. This team has no depth. You have the starting 5 and 2, maybe 3 guys coming off the bench. Get these guys into foul trouble. A lot like what you did in game 2. But I just I'm disappointed. They had another terrible start again. They got to come out, especially on the road. You got to be able to come out and try to take the crowd out of it early and have Boston have to play on their heels and have to take risks and be able to try to come back and everything else. But this was a game Boston needed more than Golden State. They can say whatever they want. We are the better team on paper. We should have executed the game plan a little bit better. Draymond took, I know Chris is probably going to mention this later. Draymond took a couple shots that he probably shouldn't have from the outside. They were open, but they need to be more aggressive in the paint. They got destroyed in that category. Looney just seemed out of place tonight. I don't know what was going on. They didn't use Iguodala tonight until Draymond fouled out. But getting Curry into foul trouble on the fouls that you call on him were just asinine. And Draymond, he plays on the edge all the time, and you have to be able to cope with that and try to stay out of foul trouble as well. So it was disappointing. The Warriors are the better team. No one, regardless of what happens in this series, no one's going to convince me otherwise. But they need to rely. They need to stop relying so much on the 3-point shot. They only went 15 of 40 tonight. 40 to me is too many unless they're open. Too many contested shots. Otto Porter hit that ridiculous shot from the top of the key with about 10, 11 seconds left on the shot clock. This is a game they should have won or could have won. They came all the way back from 18, took the lead briefly, and Boston was just able to sustain it. I just would like a game officiated down the middle instead of allowing Boston to just be that much more aggressive on the defensive side of the ball. But they need to capitalize on as many turnovers as they're forcing with Boston as well. So there's a lot of what ifs. But I would say right now that they need to win Friday for sure. They can't fall 3-1 down, especially with the officiating. And if they have another bad night from the perimeter, Clay went off. That was kind of the good point today with of everything. But just need to fix the mistakes and stop turning the ball over. And yeah, it was ugly. It was ugly. It was a game they should have won. They should have stolen, gotten home court back. But they'll be ready for Game 4 on Friday.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead. I just wanted to add to something because, like, I predicted the Warriors winning in 6. So I mean, a lot of other people did
They
too.
should have won the series in 5, and now they can't do it.
But I was thinking, okay, we probably get half of the games in Boston, in this 2-game split. So we'll see. I mean, they were really close to coming back and winning tonight. It just sucked whenever we thought we had a lead, when we had a little short lead, or whenever we were really, really close, that window closed up a lot sooner than it should have. I'm not one to bring up the refs. I try my best not to do it. If you've seen,
You can tonight. They were allowing.
I was yelling at cussing at the TV this game more so than any Warriors game I had witnessed all year long.
So were there too many ticky-tack fouls then?
Yeah, you know what? Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially on Curry early.
It reminded me of that one Cavs series though when Draymond got suspended. I remember there was at least 1 or 2 games where like they would just rack up the fouls on the referees were so quick to blow the whistle on Curry so fast in order and almost to a point just to make him irrelevant and just let him ride the pine. He had a really, really good game. He's been productive. It's not like he's not scoring or being productive while he's out there. Just imagine how much how many more points he would have put up had he even been out there, assuming he wasn't getting all these crazy ticky-tacky foul calls. Back what you were saying earlier, Corey, it's really, really frustrating as a Warriors fan knowing that this team's strength, this team markets it, they advertise it, they've been doing it for, ever since the Curry and Clay and Draymond playoff era pretty much has existed. Strength in numbers. So Steve Kerr, you supposedly have this deeper bench. Why aren't you going to it? Why aren't you using it? At this point, I don't care if Kuminga's only 19 years old. He's your most athletic guy that you freaking have on that fucking team, dude. And the announcers kept saying that the Celtics were so much more athletic than the Warriors and all this.
Yeah,
well,
I'm
sorry, man.
I heard that.
No chance on that being accurate at all.
Number one is, let me bring this up real quick. Steph Curry's latest on the injury, his ankle is wrapped, but he says, I don't feel like I'll miss a game. So that's nothing on that.
He better not.
I've hurt my ankle a million times playing basketball with friends in the gym or whatever. And it's like, it's just one of those things. Sometimes they're day-to-day things and it's not that big of a deal. Say a few prayers for Curry, but that really, that had me so heated because it was the same thing as that Marcus Smart injury play in the regular season. Same thing.
Was that a dirty play then?
I won't say it was a dirty play, but I feel like a whistle should have been blown. Like that's why they usually call those jump balls. Like they were letting them have a pretty long leash on that play.
Marcus Smart jump on top of Curry again. Sure.
But like
Draymond gets called on the foul.
My thing is, like, I think it would be really easy for me to sit here and be like, okay, the officiating was bad. But even like with the ticky-tack fouls, like that's going to happen in every single game regardless for both teams. Steph Curry had 3 turnovers to start out that fourth quarter. After those 3 turnovers, there was no energy after that. Like they really had the Celtics, I think, in a really good spot, like right where they wanted them. Like they were on their heels going into that fourth, and Steph Curry was starting that fourth. So you expect, okay, he's coming in. He's not going to sit out the rest of this quarter. They're going to go for the win here. And when you give them opportunities, just freebie opportunities. I mean, it was not just 3 turnovers, it was back-to-back possessions, if I remember correctly. There was something close to that at least. So that was just not the way you wanted to come out, and you gave them way too much energy. Like the basketball on the court carries a lot of energy. So every turnover, you're transferring a lot of momentum to that other team, giving them fast break opportunities. I also really want to see what the hell this team's going to do with Jaylen Brown, because listen, Jason Tatum's going to get his numbers. He's the best player on the Celtics. So that's inevitable. He's going to get his numbers. He's going to get his points. But Jaylen Brown has had multiple runs. He's had a run in every single game of this series where he looks unstoppable. The fourth quarter of game one got the Celtics going. They ended up having the energy. They kept going with that adrenaline. They won the game. Game two, he started the game out really hot and then got into foul trouble, had to sit out a little bit. He said it kind of took him out of rhythm. And then today to start the game again was going off and had 17 points early, was really backpacking that
crazy.
Celtics team. Like, when are they going to have an answer for him? Because you know Jason Tatum's going to show up at some point throughout the course of a game, even if it's like a slow start. So with Jaylen Brown, he's the guy you got to stop. Because listen, Marcus Smart pouring in 24 points also doesn't help. I mean, when he banked in that three, I kind of knew the game was over.
Won't happen again.
but that's the thing, exactly. Like, Marcus Smart's not going to consistently score, but a consistent threat opposite of Jason Tatum is going to be Jaylen Brown. He can't keep getting these runs where it seems like we have no answer, because it's just going to bail out Jason Tatum out of games where he is having a slow start, or like game one when he did shoot 17%. You can't let Jaylen Brown be that counterpart that's eating you alive. And for me, like, I keep saying the Warriors are a better team. I've been saying that this whole time, but honestly, I'm looking at it really objectively. I feel like the Celtics honestly might be a better team, just in terms of their physicality, their completeness, in terms of their length, their scoring, their defense. Listen, the Warriors have better top-end talent. Steph Curry's easily the best player. I'll take Draymond Green over Marcus Smart any day if I'm talking about defensive players. But if we're being real here, like, what the Warriors don't have that the Celtics do have, it's kind of similar to the 2019 Raptors series. The Celtics have someone that will show up every single night. The Warriors don't. The Warriors have three guys that you expect to show up. And if one of them doesn't show up, you can't count on anyone else on that team other than maybe hopefully Otto Porter hits a couple three-pointers open in the corner or something like that. The Celtics, it could be Grant Williams on the glass. It could be Robert Williams defending the basket and grabbing rebounds. It could be Derek White, like in game one and game two, coming off the bench hitting shots. Marcus Smart could all of a sudden start hitting shots as well, and you know his defensive presence. And then the way Jaylen Brown's playing, and that's all just around their best player. Steph Curry doesn't have that kind of support right now around him as the best player. Klay Thompson finally had a game, but outside of that, Jordan Poole's best performance was a 17-point game when they were already up by a lot of points. Draymond Green has had one good game in game two, but it's not like he exploded. He just played like normal Draymond Green. Two of the games in the series, he has not looked like Draymond Green. I don't really know who else is very consistent that you can rely on aside from Steph Curry, whereas Jason Tatum, it feels like all these guys he can rely on to provide something, even if it's just one aspect of the game. That's the problem right now that the Warriors have. And it kind of reminds me of a combination of that 2019 Raptors team, but also the Thunder team in 2016, because of how much bigger and more physical and athletic this team is. And as much as I could say, let's go to the younger guys, there's going to be that aspect of you're going to be putting guys out there that are very inexperienced. Jonathan Kuminga, as much as I love him, when it came to the series, when he got to start some games in Memphis, it looked like he was going 100 miles an hour, and really quickly you could see Steve Kerr just pull that plug. And that's not like, you know, a huge knock on him. I mean, I kind of expected that from someone that young to be playing a series in that kind of moment. So I don't think Steve Kerr is really going to lean on young guys. I would see him actually going to Andre Iguodala more before I see him going to Jonathan Kuminga. I could maybe even see him going to Moses Moody, just because he did actually put him in that Dallas series more, and he can space the floor probably better than Kuminga because of his three-point shot. But my thing is, I think Kevon Looney needs to play more. You need that physicality. You need those second chance opportunities, because he not only is he really good at getting those offensive rebounds, he's great at finding Steph and Klay off of those offensive rebounds. The Celtics are getting all these second chance opportunities. The Warriors, very slim. It's like Steph Curry's going to go off for 30. Who else is going to show up at that point? And even with Klay Thompson showing up, they still lose. That's a problem.
So let me ask you guys this. What comes to mind when you think the number 8?
Monte Ellis.
How many times we turned the ball over in the fourth quarter? You mentioned the turnovers; they were ridiculous. And for the record, 16 turnovers for the whole game. It's one above our season average. Above our season average. So in reality, they did a good job protecting the ball up until the fourth quarter. But where was the ball movement today? I didn't see it.
Yeah, it wasn't there.
Well, you know, when like 3 or 4 guys touch the ball and they find an open shooter, and you've mentioned Jordan Poole a few times before, Chris Polo, and it just seemed like the Jordan Poole, you know, let me have the ball, I'm the greatest point guard on planet Earth thing, and not get the ball moving around. It was just, that was pretty frustrating to watch with Jordan Poole, just him having the ball the whole time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Offensively, I just feel like there's not enough around Steph Curry right now.
Yeah,
I don't know who it is.
Curry and Klay outscore Tatum and Brown tonight, and they still get blown.
Yep.
I mean, explain that.
Yeah.
Boston does not have the depth. It's ridiculous how we are down 2-1 in this series. It is ridiculous. I cannot, for the life of me, understand how Boston ends up shooting the lights out in the fourth quarter in game one, and they come all the way back tonight from 18 down to take the lead briefly, to then lose it and then not be able to relinquish it again. They're playing too much isolation, and will someone tell Mike Brown to stop having the Warriors guard in zone defense every single game?
It's the defense.
Cover the outside shooters. You get a guy one-on-one with wide open corner threes. They were lucky that Jason Tatum and a few others missed wide open shots. They could have been blown out by 25.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond needs to get his act together, stop barking and yelling and thinking every call should go his way, play his game, get rebounds. But the other thing is that Looney just seemed out of sorts. He just seemed like he was out of position on every one of those long rebounds. I didn't even catch the numbers how many rebounds he had tonight. They got out-rebounded, and the Warriors have not been out-rebounded hardly ever in this entire playoff run. It's ridiculous. We end up playing Boston's game. We're not pushing the pace. Our starts are abysmal. We get down by 10 points in a blink of an eye, and we're having to exert all that energy to just try to come back. We drop down to 18. We take everything, get everything back towards the end of halftime, down 12, get everything here in the third quarter to then be able to take the lead, to then lose it, and then are down 4 going into the fourth quarter, and then just lose. We are better than Boston. No one's going to convince me any other way. We are a better team. Boston's 7 deep, 8 deep. Why can't Kerr figure this out? Clay got it going finally. Mm-hmm. Get Clay going more consistently for the rest of the season, and for God's sake, get Jordan Poole going. Why isn't this team more aggressive, driving down to the paint instead of relying on 43-point shots tonight?
So I was just going to bring that up.
Get this team into foul trouble like you did in game 2. Get Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum 3 fouls in the first half and force Adoko to bench him, like what the Warriors had to do with Curry, which, oh, by the way, at least half of those fouls were absolute BS. Ticky-tack BS. Let these guys play. Let the physicality come out. If it's something blatant, fine. But let's get this going. Come in, smash Boston in the mouth in game 4, come back and reclaim our home court advantage, take game 5, and go back to Boston next, what would that be? That would be next Thursday, up 3-2, and have all the pressure back on Boston saying, all right, what do you got? It's a chess game. And we were checkmated about halfway through that fourth quarter. No answer. It was abysmal.
That was another thing. That was another thing I wanted to bring up too. Is they didn't attack the paint as much as they have been in this game. So that was another thing on, I could say, why we lost too.
They're the Houston Rockets when D'Antoni was still the coach. Let's just jack up 40 to 45 threes a game and hope that we win.
Do you
that's
think
pretty much what we're doing.
It's terrible.
Do you think Kerr got outcoached tonight?
I know he got outcoached.
I think Kerr was just lazy. I think it was just lazy coaching. Kerr is better than Adoko 10 out of 10 times. But the players just did not execute. Stop playing this zone defense garbage. Go back to man-to-man. Switch. Double team. There's no double teams. You got a guy out there. He's driving down the lane with no help. And Curry needs to be, and Looney needs to be in better position for these rebounds. Where's the Looney that can grab 15 to 18 rebounds a game? He was non-existent.
Well, that's my issue with the Looney thing, because he actually had the same amount of rebounds he had in game 2, but he played like 5 minutes less, and the Warriors were getting bullied in the paint. If Robert Williams is in the game, there's no way Kevon Looney can be out, especially when Draymond Green. To me, the bigger issue is Draymond Green. He wasn't boxing anybody out. The dude had 4 rebounds all night. That's not good enough. I know Draymond's not as big of a forward, but he is a power forward. He's got to get more boards than that. He's got to be more active. And when in terms of like not getting the paint, I think that's where we're literally just seeing the Warriors struggle to match the physicality of this defense that the Celtics are playing. It's like really hard for them to get those looks into the paint. Steph Curry's tried to get to the basket, but Robert Williams is a problem. And even Al Horford is pretty decent at defense too when he's in position. It's just he is the one kind of giving Steph Curry space off those screens. But in terms of in the paint, he's not the easiest guy to finish around. And also Jason Tatum's really long. Jaylen Brown's really long. Grant Williams, like they're very athletic, very springy guys with length. So my problem for the Warriors is exactly what you guys are saying. I want them to get, like, especially Jordan Poole. He's one of their most crafty finishers on the team. He can get those opportunities at the basket. Like we saw him do that. He kind of faked out Robert Williams on that awkward reverse layup that he ended up getting. But he's also a guy who's the most accurate free throw shooter in the league. If he gets himself to the line, you're going to get easy points. He's going to get in rhythm. He's going to get his confidence going a little bit, because that's what I really liked about Klay Thompson finishing that fourth quarter in game 2 was he got some free throws in, he got a 3, and then he comes into today and he was in rhythm right off the bat. You could tell. So they need to attack the basket more for sure. They also just got to attack the glass. And I'm looking at Draymond Green a lot because this is the worst finals series I've seen Draymond Green play ever, because 2 out of the 3 games, he just looks – his energy just doesn't look like – it looks like other guys like Grant Williams, Jaylen Brown, looks like they're outmatching his energy. And that's the biggest thing about Draymond. And it's a kind of a weird thing to say, but his energy that he brings to this team in the middle of games, especially in big games like this, is something that is so valuable, like one of the most valuable things about him. And if you're constantly playing with less energy than these other role players on these other teams, I don't know who else is going to bring that energy, because they really rely on him to bring that nastiness to the game a little bit. And he's kind of not really bringing it. He's having his little antics, but he's not really bringing that nastiness on the glass. And there's kind of a difference there. The energy is going to different places.
Someone please explain how Robert Williams was as effective as he was tonight with a total bum week. It's ridiculous. They should have gone right after him. They should have ended up getting him into foul trouble and just dropping him and having him go to that really, really soft bench. They were just allowing Boston to be that much more aggressive on defense than us. There's no excuse of how Curry ended up with 4 fouls there in the third quarter or whatever it was.
Ask Scott Foster.
It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. I understand they're the home team. You have to call this game down the middle. And to me, I didn't feel like they were calling it down the middle at all. I just think there was a lot of questionable calls. But I think the biggest issue tonight was the rebounding. Looney just seemed out of position. How many offensive there's no excuse for how Boston ended up picking all those offensive rebounds tonight. Just made no sense.
Did GP2 play today or no?
Yeah, GP2 should have played way more, dude.
GP2 was not playing good today. That was another thing I forgot to mention.
Yeah,
his defense, he was kind of getting cooked a little bit. Offensively, did not look confident at all. He had like that one look for a wide open 3, and he just looked afraid to take it.
Yeah,
his explosiveness doesn't seem to be there. I don't know if it's maybe he's worried about the elbow or whatever, but he looked a little different today, and that was not expected.
Hey, speaking of cooked, Draymond got cooked more than anybody, I think.
We need
that's
to come
why,
out Friday and just show Boston why we're still the best team in the association.
So I'm gonna show what Curry says in the interview real quick. He's up at the podium, so let's just hear what he has to say.
You can draw as you move forward, trying to get back into the series.
Nothing specific, just that the situation is what it is. We're on the road. We must-win game, game 4. We had a must-win game after a tough one in game 1, and we got game 2. So the flow, we still feel like we obviously can win the series, and we got to come out with the right intensity and focus in game 4. But to Clay's point, it does help knowing we've been through a little bit of everything over these last 8 years, and can draw on that experience of showing up, when you need to stay in the series.
Last question to Kendra up front.
Do you remember the last time you had just one free throw in a game, and did tonight's Celtics defense on you feel the same level of physical and tightness as it had through the first 2 games, or different or more?
Felt the same. I mean, their personnel and the way that they defend, they are very physical. They have a way of obviously with Marcus on the ball. He's pretty aggressive. Robert and behind the play, and they got usually a lot of length and size on the wings. I don't know why it was only one free throw. I felt like there were a couple possessions that could have, or plays that could have gone my way. It is hard
100%.
to understand the flow of the game based on some of the calls that went my way, where I have 4, and you're having to defend a certain way because you want to stay on the floor and not allow that to impact the game. But you still got to find a way to be effective no matter how the game is being called. And it's a good lesson to learn for next game.
Thanks, Steph.
Question for Jason.
All right. So let's go over that. Why, for somebody who literally has, number one, changed the game, number two is literally a future Hall of Famer, why the hell did nothing go his fucking way tonight? He only had one fucking free throw, and that was it.
Why did he get the second on the flagrant by Horford? He got fouled. Yeah. Should have had the N1 plus the flagrant free throw. He only got one free throw there.
Yeah,
he doesn't get respect.
It's fucking bullshit, bro.
He needs to be more aggressive. He needs to drive more and try to put up. The problem of what I'm noticing is because of Boston's size. The reason why there's so many block shots is they're not angles and everything else. They're just up there. Here's a toss. There was that one shot by whoever it was a questionable goaltend that they allowed the block to get through to, and I can't remember who it was. It was either Wiggins or Clay who ended up putting up a shot there. I think Robert Williams had no business having the game that he had. They should have gone right after him with the bad wheel. Same thing with Marcus Smart. Both are bum ankles, bum lower body injuries, and they're not getting Boston in the foul. They got to be more aggressive. They need to push the tempo, and they need to be able to put Boston on their heels, especially in Boston. Take the crowd out because that crowd is ruthless. They're absolutely relentless when it comes to this and that. Draymond needs to just learn to keep his mouth shut just a little bit, play his game. And I just think that he's just losing a lot of he's spending so much time arguing instead of actually just playing his game. He's the best defensive player in the entire association, and he just looked like a shell of himself tonight. It just, to me, they need to be more aggressive coming out in Game 4, punch Boston in the mouth, and have Boston try to counter it with something else. What I still don't understand is Udoka doesn't have a lot of moves to make. But that starting five, they had another 5 guys in double figures and another guy with 8 points. There's no excuse for it. There's none. They need to be able to defend better without getting these ticky-tack fouls and be able to run out in transition and get more fast break points. How they lost the fast break point discrepancy tonight, I'll never understand either. So
yeah,
there's just a lot of things that went wrong. They still should have won this game, taken a 2-1 lead. Now they're in a pretty much a must-win in game number 4 before they head back to Chase for game 5 on Monday.
Well, that's also why I'm bringing up the point of like the Celtics team compared to the Warriors. When you look at the surrounding supporting cast with the best player, like if you look at the whole starting 5 of the Celtics, they all had at least 5 assists except for Robert Williams. They all had more rebounds than Draymond Green tonight, including Grant Williams off the bench. Like I just feel like they have more players than the Warriors that you can actually rely on to show up in one aspect, even if it's just 1 or 2 aspects of the game, even if it's not scoring. Like Robert Williams, he's averaged 3.5 blocks in this series. He had 4 in game 1 also. Like he's a problem. I remember I wanted the Warriors to draft him because I saw that potential and athleticism in him. I really wanted him when he was coming into the league. And that's the thing. Like he's having such a great game too, Corey, because Draymond Green was not playing very physical tonight. And Kevon Looney needs to be in there. Even if Kevon Looney is not playing like a great game, just for physicality reasons, if Draymond Green's getting bodied up, like you can't expect Otto Porter to be out there and match up with him. I don't know who else. Like Bielitsa getting minutes. Like I don't know what the hell they expect him to do against literally anybody. He's not even shooting threes, which is I think the one thing that makes it nice is he can space the floor. So I don't even understand why he's getting like 3.5 minutes. I would just give that to Looney.
Yeah.
He's a good passer.
I wanna go over about Andrew Wiggins' game, but let's hear from him first, and then we'll go ahead and talk about Wiggins afterwards.
Why do you think you guys weren't able to carry that momentum into the fourth quarter?
Third quarter we just let the game settle down, and we come out ready. Fourth quarter, I feel like they just played harder, more physical, getting offensive rebounds. Yeah.
We'll go to Kendra up front.
Andrew, what's kind of the gut reaction or initial reaction when you see Steph kind of come up from that pile up, limping, and then as he heads to the bench, he's also grabbing at his abdomen?
You just hoping he's okay. That's it. I'm just hoping he's good, and because Steph stuff, so just hoping he's good and ready for the next game.
Anything else for Andrew? Tim in the back.
Andrew, I don't know if you were actually in the scrum, but were you around it, and like what was going on? Like it was kind of hard to see with all the bodies on the ground there.
It was a loose ball, and people were just flying to the ball. I couldn't really tell you too much more than that.
We'll go to Marcus in the back right.
Andrew, how do you, this is Marcus Thompson, The Athletic. How do you like the looks you were able to get, especially when they're started paying more attention to Steph?
Well, I like the looks. I feel like I had a lot of open threes I just didn't make. But just gotta keep shooting with confidence, and I know it'll drop.
Next question on the left.
Andrew, Dan Devine from The Ringer. It seemed like they, after having a really tough time spacing the floor last game, they were able to generate more space today. Maybe even some more times where they got a runway, bring guys back to sort of half court. How were they able to do that better, and what challenges does that present for you as you try to stretch them out or defend them as they get all that space?
They did create a lot of space offensively tonight, but we just gotta shrink the floor. Keep playing defense that we did before. Just shrinking the floor and guys at elbows and helping each other, and we'll be fine.
Final question to Michael.
Michael Pina, Sports Illustrated. Andrew, could you just speak to the impact that Rob Williams had on tonight's game? He was moving better than he has earlier in the series.
Mm-hmm. No, he's a big body. He's a rim protector. So you just got to always be aware of him.
Thanks.
What did it?
Go ahead, man.
He sounds so defeated.
Wouldn't it be nice if we had our fucking rim protector playing in this game? I'm talking about James Wiseman. I got sick of us driving to the hoop each and every time, and they're blocking our shots, and we don't do it on the other end.
So let me ask you guys this about Wiggins' game tonight. Shots weren't going in. On defense, like it felt like he just didn't show up at all compared to his other games in this playoff run so far. And you saw Andre Iguodala yelling at him on the sideline. So, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on Wiggins' game today, and what do you think he needs to do to improve?
He played the most minutes, right?
He did.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it is he's being given the toughest assignment. One thing that the Warriors or the Celtics were doing, though, is they were getting a lot of situations where they could actually get Andrew Wiggins off of Jason Tatum, and they were attacking Steph Curry in that fourth quarter, especially to get that mismatch. So I don't know how Steve Kerr wants to counter that, but those threes just need to fall. Like if he was hitting those threes, he's having the second best game of the night, maybe even the best game of the night. He took 6 threes. I think he went 1 for 6. I think that he's someone like he had one really bad play today, in my opinion, and that was that turnover after he got a rebound and he kind of threw it out of bounds. Steph Curry should have had a wide open 3. But that's the problem is with Andrew Wiggins needing to show up this badly. Like I've personally never expected Andrew Wiggins to be like the third option on this team. Like this whole year, to me, it's always been Steph, Clay, Jordan Poole, and Wiggins. Everything is icing on the cake. But it's gotten to the point where he has to be the third or maybe even the second option on this team. And that's where I'm getting kind of worried because I don't think he's that kind of player if you're trying to win a championship, because he is expending a lot of that energy trying to guard Jason Tatum, trying to guard Jaylen Brown. I think that he still does bring good effort with those 50-50 balls and with those rebounds. Defensively, they need to. It's really a whole team thing. Like, yeah, Andrew Wiggins had some questionable plays on defense today, but I think that was just everybody. I think today, for some reason, the Warriors were just over helping on everything, especially in the first quarter. If you go look at it, like there was a wide open corner three every like few possessions. There was someone getting wide open for a dunk or a layup underneath the basket for no reason in half court offense. I couldn't comprehend that. Guys are kind of all over the place, whether it was Grant Williams getting an open three or if it was Al Horford. Like there was just constant miscommunication, constant overhelping. So it was just a really weird defensive day. Like I said earlier, like even Gary Payton looked kind of lost and confused on where he had to be sometimes. So I think that the Celtics, I probably would have to watch it a little more, but I think they just came up with a really good game plan today. And the Warriors, at the end of the day, they just defensively couldn't really figure it out. Like the shots were falling until the fourth quarter. They just could not get stops. Like it was at a point where they were down like it was like in between like 15 and 18. They just couldn't get past 15. And once they got past 15, they couldn't get below 8. And it took constant runs just to get into the game again and take the lead back. But then it just got right back to where it was in the beginning of the game in that fourth quarter. Like just defensively, I don't know. They looked really lost today. I expect that to shape up because we kind of saw the same thing in game 1 in the fourth quarter, and we saw how they responded in game 2. So I expect that same kind of response. But in terms of Andrew Wiggins specifically, I can't really blame him all that much because throughout the course of the playoffs, he's been the most consistent perimeter defender to me. To me, it's everyone else because, like I said, if he's guarding Jason Tatum most of the game, even if he's guarding him well, I expect Jason Tatum to average like 25 at least in the series, even if he's being guarded really well. But who the hell is stopping Jaylen Brown is my problem. Like I wanted him guarding Jaylen Brown more in the first game, actually. I think that's where they really screwed themselves over. It's really just blowing that lead. They could be up 2-1 right now after this loss. So I don't know how much I can really blame Andrew Wiggins in all honesty. I thought he played okay. You know, he kind of does a little bit of everything. It's just he doesn't really do anything other than maybe defense. He doesn't do anything like really spectacular, but he shows up.
I mean, if you got two pretty good scorers on your team and he's a third guy, he fills that role just fine. But yeah, he's not going to be the superstar that we all thought he was coming out, without a doubt.
All-Star Wiggins.
Yeah,
he did make the All-Star team, right?
I mean, let me ask you guys this: who do you blame for this loss? Do you blame Steve Kerr or do you blame somebody else?
Yeah, who didn't show up?
I blame Kerr.
I go Draymond and a little bit of Kerr at the end there.
I agree with Chris.
Because Draymond, just energy-wise, was just not there.
The problem with Draymond is he just gets frustrated, and I think it just takes too much out of his natural talent. He just needs to play the game and worry about all the BS after and complain and you know whatever antics that he decides to do. They need a better start. They can't be dropping double digits halfway through the first quarter and then having everything try to fall back into their place. Third quarters are their quarters, and I think they were only a +8 or something tonight. I didn't get the final numbers. I was trying to finish up at work, but it was just frustrating because it just seemed like all the momentum from game 2 just wished away. And Boston has outscored the Warriors in the fourth quarter in each one of these games, including game 2, by like a point. So they need to just come out firing in game 4, try to drive more early, get Jaylen Brown and Tatum and even Marcus Smart into foul trouble early, have Adoko bench him, and hope that the bench can't sustain whatever lead or deficit that they have going forward. Because right now, the Warriors are just getting outplayed. Game one was kind of a anomaly. It was a very lucky break for Boston, just going 15 of 22 or 15 of 23. Okay, you can live with that. This game here, you had it in your midst, and you ended up letting it go in the fourth quarter with really no response.
So for game 4, would you start Poole over Looney?
Nope.
Switch thing up?
No.
No.
No,
Never.
I wouldn't change the
No.
starting lineup.
You need
I
you
would.
need you need some type of stable scoring, which I know Poole has still. It's his first finals, yada yada yada. But he needs to be more aggressive. He has the handles. He needs to take Marcus Smart or Brown or whoever's guarding him off the dribble and just be more aggressive, even if it's just driving down and penetrating to an open shooter like a Otto Porter or Bielitsa or somebody else. They just need to be more aggressive, even if they're not getting the shots down in the paint, to just try to discombobulate the Celtics defense to try to find those open men. But for God's sake, Kerr or Mike Brown or whoever the hell this decision is, get off the zone. They're getting killed on wide open threes because the zone is not able to cover all sorts here. I understand you're going to have a lot of screens and a lot of switches, but the Warriors should have a good enough defense here to be able to counter that. This zone defense is just getting ridiculous on a lot of levels. So they need to change that over to man, be more aggressive early, get Boston out of their game, and try to close out on the 3-point shot.
What's up, Dion?
What's up, Dion?
Hey,
What up, Dion? Let me say what's up to a couple of guys in chat really quick. Fazil, Steve was Supremo. I remember you from my 49ers shows. Good to have you back. They're Niner fans too, but yeah. Welcome to the show, Dion. Good to have you.
Thank you, man. I'm sorry about this man. I was upset because I don't care what nobody says, man. As soon as y'all came back, I was like, there we go, we got it, we good, and then I don't know, man. What's weird is like one of you guys always jumps on the other person early as shit. Like there's always some ridiculous gap in the lead, but it's the defense has to get better, man. It's got to get a little bit better for the Warriors, at least in my opinion. They've got to get a lot tougher and a lot tighter on it. As far as that's concerned, that bullshit ass foul on Steph was really, really stupid. Like that. Come on, Marcus Smart.
Thank you, Dion.
At a bare minimum, bro, Marcus, you could have just called a regular foul. You don't give Marcus Smart no 3 shots.
Yeah.
He touched him. He moved past him, and then Marcus Smart starts shooting, and you call a foul for three. Come on, man.
He wasn't even shooting motion either.
Gray area of that continuation mess too.
Yeah, no, that's not continuation. Continuation is when you're in the process of shooting.
Right.
He was not in the process of shooting.
Should have been a common foul. That's my point. They gave him 3 shots on that. If it's the same play that you're talking about.
What do you think about Scott Foster, Corey?
Yeah. The only other thing I can say as well is, man, it's hard to beat a team when their crowd is in it like Boston's crowd was in it. They were not playing. You had Paul Pierce in the building. I mean, that crowd.
Boston. They knew if Boston went down 2-1, losing 2 in a row, the season was likely going to be over anyway. Boston needed this game more than Golden State for sure.
100%, man. They definitely needed that W more than Golden State. But here's the thing. All Golden State really needs to do is steal one in Boston.
That's it.
If y'all can steal this next one, that's all that matters, because y'all can win at home. Y'all can take it back. Y'all can take it back to the crib and easily shut them out. I still feel like you guys win in 6. Now, what's going on with Wiseman? Because I saw somebody saying that they wish they would have activated him. What's going on? What happened?
They shut him down for the whole season because his knee inflamed again, and
his knee is swelled up, and he was playing the G League like for 3 games. Who looked really nice in the G League, and then boom! I thought they were gonna have him ready for the playoffs, but then they decided wait for the playoffs. Like, oh no, we're just gonna make
Shut
him
him down.
inactive.
Shut him
Yeah, shut him down
down.
for the season. But they
Nah,
already
that's not
announced that
good, man.
they already announced that
Why
he's
is
playing in the summer league though. I was like, okay, you're gonna have him play in the summer league, but this is the
But
freaking
you not gonna
NBA
have him play
finals
in the
that we're.
finals?
Well, that's
Will we need
because he's
No.
barely played, and this team this entire year has dealt with the fact that they've been missing somebody crucial to the rotation all year long. So getting into the playoffs, trying to integrate someone who's that young and that inexperienced in the playoff atmosphere is probably a tall task to ask, because he's somebody who probably would play like 10, maybe 12, 13 minutes a night. So to try to integrate that, I think would have been really tough. And their mindset is, listen, if his knee's inflamed on top of all that, he's really young. Let's not risk him aggravating this even worse. Like, they remember Festus Ezeli. That dude has not stepped on the court since Game 7 of 2016. They don't want to, that was the silver lining of them being so bad and injured that one year, of being able to land on Wiseman. So they don't want to throw that investment away. They understand, like, this dude could be one of two things: one, a franchise center for the next handful of years, or could be someone who shows a great potential and good ability that could be good trade ammunition to get another star in here while Steph and Clay and Draymond are still here. So you got to protect that investment.
Yeah.
100%. I agree with you on that one, man. I'm being honest with you, because I'm from California. That's why I'm pulling for the Dubs to take this home. You know what I'm saying? As you can see by my hat, I'm a diehard Bulls fan. But if anything, man, I definitely don't want the Celtics winning nothing. Because that's just more bragging rights for them. More reason for them to talk crap. Even though this current Celtics team has won not a damn thing.
Yeah.
They're getting breaks too. A lot of breaks going their way.
Yeah.
I do want to mention one thing really quickly about what Klay
Yeah.
Thompson was saying about how he said he's getting 2015 vibes. I was getting the same
I was
thing.
just going to bring that up.
Yeah, because not only are they down 2-1, now listen, they're not playing like Matthew Dellavedova and like Tristan Thompson in terms of a supporting cast around their best player. But if you remember the way that series went, Game 2, it was Steph Curry having a horrible shooting night, and then they lose, and the series is 1-1 going on the road. This series was Klay Thompson having a horrible shooting night, and that's all people were talking about, going on the road. And I remember Game 3, even though they lost that game, I remember watching but Steph Curry got his rhythm there in that game, and I knew moving forward this might change the rest of the series, and they won out. And Klay Thompson in this game, even though they lost, he got his rhythm back. So I really want to see how this carries forward with Steph, the way he's been really consistent. If Klay can be consistent, moving forward with the rest of the series. And then also if Draymond Green wakes up. If Draymond Green wakes up and the defense is focused and Steph and Klay are hitting, I don't think you're going to have a game like this. Like, this was a bad start and then a horrible collapse in that fourth quarter in terms of only scoring like 11 points. So it's going to be interesting to see, because Klay Thompson getting his rhythm back, that finally gives Steph Curry that second guy, because there wasn't really a second guy the last couple of games. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes forward. That's where I do get the 2015 vibes, but this Celtics team is really damn good. Like, I have to give them credit. They're really damn good.
Yeah.
They are definitely good. Brazil, I'm going to need you to calm down, okay? Need to relax. Somber mood in here, bro. He's doing a little too much, but calm down now.
He's a 49er fan, by the way.
What happened.
I know. Yeah.
We watched it. Okay, this is what we did. We're very well aware of what Boston did tonight. Don't worry, they're not going to do it on Friday. That's what's not about to happen.
And I appreciate the support, Dion. I know you're not a Warrior fan, but thank you for helping United brethren out.
I'm a California guy. Somebody told me, "Wait, you a Lakers fan? How you over here just talking about the Celtics like that? What the rivalry you guys?"
He's got a point.
Hey, I don't believe that. I feel like with this finals, you can really weed out the LeBron fans and the Laker fans, because the LeBron fans want the Celtics to win because of Steph Curry. The Laker fans, with no hesitation, should want the Warriors to win.
That's perfect, Polo.
Automatically, because my
you
thing
gotta
is,
tweet that out.
I'm gonna take a line from Little Nicky. Yo, Snittius, you must be out of your mind, bro. You must be out of your mind.
That movie was a shit, dude.
Because Little Nicky was hilarious. He was talking. That was Hitler when he was telling him to shove that pineapple up his ass.
That movie's too damn funny, man.
That motherfucker looked at me. He was like, "Yo, Snittius." Like, nah, I ain't doing that.
Hey,
man. Look, man. Okay. See, now that right there tells
Brazilian
me he's a
killing
true
me.
Laker fan because he doesn't like LeBron or AD. Let me tell you why. Because AD can't stay on the court. You know who AD is? AD is the NBA's Jason Verrett. When he's on the court, my God, he is a monster. But he ain't never on the goddamn court. It's the same thing with Jason Verrett. When he's on the field, he is a top 5 defensive back. He ain't never on the damn field.
I
It's just
used to
some
say
people are.
I used to say AD was the Andrew Luck of the NBA. That's what I used to say.
I think that's a better one, in my opinion, at least. But I'm with you on too, Dion. Hey, let me say what's up to Low the Truth 05 in the chat. Big supporter of the channel, Warrior fan / Niner fan, and he was just calling out Brazil for being a Laker fan about the Celtics thing. That's funny, man.
What was I going to tell you guys?
Somebody said, "Wait, hold up. Do y'all have so the Warriors got 6 rings already?"
Yeah, there's 6 titles.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, 6 titles.
Oh, yeah, because somebody was like, they was going to pass
There
us
was
up
2
in rings.
They had 2 championships in Philadelphia, and then the first one in the Bay Area was with Rick Barry. Yeah.
75.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Philly 75, and then 15, 17, and 18.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
The Chicago Bulls.
So, Dion, I wanted to get your answer on this because before you joined, I asked everybody else, who do you blame for this game? Do you blame Kerr or do you blame somebody else? So
It's going to be Kerr, man. Because what Steve Kerr is going to have to figure out is what's going to work best defensively. It is not the offensive game. Every time you guys lose, it has nothing to do with the offense. I mean, outside of the first game, that was probably the offense because it just couldn't hit nothing. But most of the time,
played great in the fourth quarter. Just Boston just got red hot. I mean,
yeah,
and
that's
again.
And that's the thing. He's got to figure out what's gonna. Yeah, he's got to figure out what's gonna work best defensively. Once he figures that out, he needs to make sure he sets that up properly and gets those dudes going. Because Jason Tatum shouldn't be able to dribble the ball for 15 goddamn minutes and then score. Like, I mean, if you see him dribbling in between, at least stick your damn hand out, do something. But then again, they calling every ticky-tack foul you could think of, And Draymond, listen to me. I love the way you play, but get your emotions under control, brother. You need to get your composure together. You cannot foul out. This is the finals. They need you for every defensive snap. We don't need all that. We don't need all that. You need to just suck it up, take these fouls, and keep on pushing. You got to be smarter, man, because we know he ain't give you. I don't even think he scored anything tonight. He didn't give y'all nothing
pretty much.
offensively.
2 points.
He was getting cooked on defense too.
See, that's why for me, I go Draymond before I blame Kerr. I have it with both, but I think Draymond first because the conflict with, yes, you do need to prioritize the defense a lot. The problem with that is you're going to have a lot of situations where Steve Kerr is going to end up rolling out a lot of lineups that are playing 3-on-5 basketball almost. And with Steph Curry, while it can work earlier in the games because you see like Al Horford conceding a lot of space off those screens, when you get to the fourth quarter, they're not allowing that shit to happen. They're going to blitz Steph Curry every chance they get. And Klay Thompson, as good as he is, he's not someone who's going to be getting a lot of shots off the dribble. We saw it get a lot tighter as soon as the fourth quarter came around for Klay as well. So prioritizing those defensive lineups, it's important, but I don't know where you're going to be getting the answers on offense because regardless, like Jason Tatum's going to get his buckets because he's one of those guys. Jaylen Brown, that to me is where they need to find an answer. So if Draymond is himself, if his energy is consistent and it's in the right place and he's playing lockdown defense and he's being the defensive anchor and he's also being the good facilitator for this team on offense and he's hitting the glass as well, that can kind of cancel some of those things out, some of those offensive deficiencies that those lineups might have because the defense is going to start with him. Like he was going to be the runaway defensive player of the year if he didn't hurt his back this year. So it all is going to start with him defensively anyways, regardless of what lineups Steve Kerr throws out there, because there's no way that Steve Kerr is going to be able to throw out a lineup and prioritize defense without Draymond Green being the biggest part of that. So he needs to wake up. And this 2 games now that his energy has looked like it was not really there, at least it wasn't in the right place, and kind of feel like sometimes his focus was a little bit lost or misplaced. So if he wakes up, I think whatever Steve Kerr does, that's the only way it's going to have a chance to work. And then at that point, if Draymond's playing like himself and there's still some things wrong with these lineups, then I'll give the full blame to Steve Kerr, assuming no other players like choking the job away. But Draymond to me right now is clearly having his worst finals with the Warriors right now.
Yeah. Kendrick Perkins had a little tweet out right now.
Oh, he was probably salivating when he saw Draymond play bad today.
He said, "Looked like Draymond was more prepped for his post-game podcast than the actual game. Just an observation. Never mind me though. Carry on. Fucking Perkins, man. I swear to God.
What up,
Swear to
Poppy
God.
Pablo? I see him in here.
Poppy Pablo.
He's a Laker fan, but it's all good.
I don't care what nobody says, man. Look, hey, I love Kendrick Perkins and his takes, but when he speaks, he makes me laugh. You know, especially when he's on First Take. You know, he gets at you. Well, look, Stephen A. See, this is what I don't like. I done told. See, we can't play like that. It doesn't work that way.
Man,
when
Dion
you
with the
on the
impersonation.
court dribbling the ball, it has to go a specific way. So if it doesn't do that, then you can't say that, Stephen A. Like he makes you
He's also got a great obsession with Steph Curry's green eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know. Look, man. I'm openly admit I'm comfortable in telling another dude they handsome, but I ain't finna repeat it a million times. Like that's not gonna be
every time
thing.
he tweets about Steph Curry, he just says the man with green eyes had 30 points tonight.
Hey, and then you get lost in them, but you don't need to let us know. That's okay. We good.
Dion.
Hey, so this was all of us tonight after the Warriors lost. Okay.
That was me. That was me after Marcus. So I was like standing up because I was like, "Holy shit, this is really intense." It was one of those games. That was me when Marcus Smart banked in a 3. I sat down the rest of the game.
Oh,
I was like, "Okay, if that shit's happening, I don't care anymore."
If y'all want to know what that was when we decided to draft Drake fucking Jackson. Because I was tired of us drafting the damn defensive lineman with the first
you didn't like the
every
pick. You didn't like the
goddamn
pick.
year.
I wanted that pick though, man. I wanted the pass rusher.
He's gonna be good.
I think
just for
and
me,
you hear what Samson Ebicom said about him today?
I did, but look. Did you see Samson Ebicom?
Oh yeah, he looks like
man,
a
I don't think
robot.
He got a stitch of body fat on him. The man was
I know
shredded.
he's been juicing up this offseason.
For real, he's built like a machine. I'm over here looking like, damn, how much did you work out in the offseason?
Bro, he has to. They just drafted a guy at his position, and if they cut him, they'll save cap space.
And they said he looks pretty good too. They said Samson was looking good in practice today too. So, and I hear a lot of good stuff about Trey. I know it's a Warriors show, but just had to throw that in there.
Yeah. Also, just real quick, did you see Nick Bosa's ass? That fool was yoked.
He big. He real big. He was yoked like a motherfucker.
Yep.
Drake. No, I do. I honestly believe he is. I just didn't want us to go defensive lineman in the first round. I'm not going to switch up because it's a Warriors show, but long story short, I'm tired of seeing a defensive lineman drafted in the first fucking round. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
Draft something else.
I get it.
Anything
I
else.
get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming
Like the only person we drafted with Lynch and Shanahan outside of the first round that's not been a defensive lineman has been Trey Lance. And we had to give up everything under the goddamn sun to go get him.
Second round.
He was a second round pick.
Second round.
Ayuk was first round.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's our first pick.
Exactly. This is very far and few between.
The first pick for any time Shanahan and Lynch have been together has always been a D lineman. This shit is annoying as fuck.
Oh yeah.
I hate it. But
they're gonna do
back
it again
to this
next year.
because it's about the Warriors.
We needed some comic relief, or we needed to.
I'm telling you right now, guys. You guys will win this next game. Do not panic. You'll take one in Boston. The rest you can take it home, even if you don't win another one in Boston. You'll be able to finish this out. The Warriors in 6. I know Breezy is going to hate me for that.
Yep.
Sorry, Breezy.
I love you, Breezy, but I'm a California native.
In Boston, then too.
And it is what it is. I can't help it.
6 will be in Boston also. So you have to win 2 if it's in 6.
Yeah. But real quick, we're gonna start wrapping up here pretty soon. But I wanna play what Isaiah Thomas said about Draymond Green. So give me a second.
The NBA Finals, and when you're playing for a championship, it really is about your mental toughness and your mental focus in being able to totally 100% concentrate on your opponent, shutting him down, understanding their offensive and defensive schemes. And anytime you lose that focus or that concentration, and you're talking about Cedric Maxwell, and you're talking about podcast, and you're talking about the fans.
Don't talk about X and O's though.
Then you have lost, you have really lost your concentration and your focus. And where does that show up? That show up in the box score in a game like tonight where you play 34 minutes, you have 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 points. Draymond Green does that in a grade school game, not in the NBA Finals. So when you talk about focus, this is what the NBA Finals is about. And right now, he has lost focus in terms of concentrating on beating the opponent. He's not talking about Jaylen Brown. He's not talking about Tatum. He's not talking about Marcus Smart. He's talking about podcasts, and he's talking about Cedric Maxwell and the fans. Concentration needs to come back on the Boston Celtics players who you're playing against out on the floor.
You really think that the comments
100%.
You really believe that?
So that's Isaiah's take. Thoughts, everybody? What do you think on that take?
I want Isaiah Thomas to call Steve Kerr right now, dude. Seriously, he's right.
I agree with every word of it.
Yeah.
Like, you can see it on the court. Like, it wasn't so much an issue, I think, in the last few series, but right now against a really good Celtics team, it's pretty glaring. Like, I can tell. Like, game 1, like if you look at Draymond in game 2, the energy was so different. He started the game first possession, tried to rip the ball out of Al Horford's hands. I was like, okay, this is Draymond. Games 1 and 3 didn't look like Draymond Green. He was getting bullied everywhere on the floor. He wasn't really that much of a factor at all offensively, even as a facilitator. He fouled out today. It just didn't look like Draymond today. And I can tell, like, it feels like the energy that he should have in the game, you only see it being exerted when there's these scuffles or when there's like an incident with like the fans yelling at him or something, like the Memphis series. Like, that energy, like if you apply that same energy into the way you play defense and the way you play when you're trying to box a man out and get on the glass, it's so different. Like, that's why I keep saying his energy it's there, but it's misplaced into different things is what it feels like right now.
Yeah. You have anything to piggyback off of what Thomas did?
I can't say that his focus isn't there because Draymond's a pretty locked in guy. He just has to understand that this just goes back to what I said earlier. Me and Isaiah kind of said something similar. It's just making sure that you get your emotions in check to a point where you can go and you can ball out. You just got to be smarter than that. You know, when it comes to certain situations, you got to understand that things are what they are. It's not going to change. You can bitch at that ref all you want, but all you're going to do is wind up getting yourself a tech and possibly getting kicked out the game. Mm-hmm. You know the crowd in Boston hates you. I mean, hell, I scrolled through Twitter and saw somebody wrote literally on their shirt, Draymond is a bitch.
I saw that.
Yeah, they made T-shirts for it. I saw that.
Yeah, like, so I'm looking like, okay, y'all can cut. My thing is, if I'm Draymond, that's fuel for my fire. Hate me, because I'm going to shut down your best player. And when he scores not a point and we win, I'm going to laugh at you on the way out of the building. Like, those are the things that's your mindset that you have to have. It's the killer instinct, but the killer instinct must be placed properly. I'll give you a prime example. And this is no disrespect. LeBron don't have killer instinct. He never had it. He's never had it. I've never seen it. He doesn't have that killer in him. You know who had that killer in him? MJ. You know who had that killer in him? Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Steph and Clay combined are killers because they will shoot the lights out of your ass. That's what I'm talking about. You got to have that killer instinct. You want that person that's going to be able to go in there, know what they have to do, and get it done, but not be distracted. I don't think his podcast is distracting him. I think that's actually a real good way for him to be able to vent and to blow off steam. So I wouldn't say stop the podcast. I don't think that's destroying his focus. He has to just get his emotions under control. And once he does that, then he can go back to being the Draymond that we know and being that killer on the court. Because if you could shut down at least Tatum at a bare minimum and make everybody else do the work, it's going to be harder. It's not to say that they don't have other guys who can score, but if you at least get Tatum out of the way, it makes it harder for everyone else. Because I don't know who homeboy is with the hair and the white headband. Look like his hairline is receding back here, but it looked like that headband make it look like he got a head full of hair. I forget who he is.
Derek White.
He looks ridiculous, but he's a master flopper.
Oh, he sure is. He sure is.
Oh, he is a master. Every time I see him, oh my God, I'm falling. Oh, Jesus, relax. Damn. He almost as bad as LeBron, just flopping when ain't nobody even around. Just getting that in there, man. It's just get your focus, control your emotions, aim it at the game. Yeah. He almost about 6 head about now.
He about 5 head. Bashar, you have anything else to say about Isaiah Thomas?
Not really. I just agree with him 100%. That's all. I mean, it might kind of sound weird that why would a podcast affect him? But maybe Draymond, if it's not the podcast, whatever it is, he didn't look focused out there. So it's something out there. So who knows, man? I don't really have much else to say. We're probably, anybody else can go.
Yeah. Corey, anything else?
No, I think Isaiah. I think Isaiah pretty much summed it up. I think I don't think he's fully focused. Dion was saying, I don't think this is really having any impact in his game, but I think it is. I mean, this is probably one of the worst games he's ever had in an NBA Finals. He's usually right there locking down on defenders 1 through 5, usually getting rebounds, putbacks, things like that. I just think he's letting his emotions get the better of him right now, and he just needs to be able to take a step back, take a deep breath, and just get back to what his reputation, what he's been known for since he got into the league. Just a master on the defensive side, and driving down, penetrating, just be able to control the team and being able to dictate what should happen. So I agree with pretty much everything Isaiah said.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up soon. That's my last question is, what do the Warriors need to do differently in Game 4 to be able to pull this off, and also the rest of the series? Jordan, let's start with you first.
Well, even though I didn't get to watch the game today, I pretty much think they need to just play better defense, and I think they should start Poole, because I always felt Poole played better when he started than coming off the bench, and that's just my take. Curry needs to coach better, of course. Curry needs to get respect on the fouls, and
good luck with that.
They just need to come
have
with
a better chance of winning the lottery.
Come with fire on the first quarter. They can't just be resident. Yeah, can't start off slow. They need to start off fast. That's really what it is. They just need to start off fast in the first quarter, and then the rest of the game it should be fine. But yeah, it's just me. I don't
know. Chris,
this might sound kind of corny, but honestly, you need to have more heart than the Celtics. This Celtics team is young. They see an opportunity. And also, you have to remember this, even in the regular season, whoever the Warriors play, because of all the success they had, you're going to get a team's A-plus game every single night, regardless of what point of the season it's at. So now that they're in the finals, they have an opportunity to do this. This is their first time being here. They don't take a possession off energy-wise. They're hungry. They're going for it. They just look like a hungrier team, where sometimes the Warriors, even if it's not the whole team, it might be someone individually at some points in the games might look a little unserious. Like whether it's Draymond Green, or sometimes in the playoffs, if it's Steph Curry making a lazy like one-handed pass that gets telegraphed, or guys not diving on the floor for loose balls. This Celtics team is going for it, 100% full throttle, all 48 minutes. They're not messing around. And any second that the Warriors don't match that, at least, it's very easy to see. So it's not even just Draymond, it's just the whole team in general. I don't feel the hunger that the Celtics have coming from the Warriors. Like, it truly feels like you're watching a team out there that's kind of playing weak and just sometimes disappears for minutes at a time, whereas the other team, even if they're missing, they're still playing harder than the Warriors, whether it's on the glass or defense, or even if it's on offense. Like, it just feels like they're playing with more physicality, more energy, and it's just more consistent. The Warriors have had their spurts, and they had game 2 as well, but that's the problem, is it's coming in spurts, whereas the Celtics, even if they're not hitting shots, it's constant. And that's what I need the Warriors to do if they're going to flip this series around and go on the road and steal one in Boston on game 4. So,
yeah. Corey?
Yeah. Come out of the blocks early, punch, give the Celtics a good punch in the mouth, a good kind of a 1-2, try to jump out to like a 15-4 lead or something, try to get the crowd out. This is for game 4. Try to get the crowd out of it early. And try to have Boston have to play catch-up. Basketball is all a game of runs. I mean, Boston comes out early with a run. Warriors end up getting a run back and forth. Be aggressive. Try to drive and get Boston into foul trouble. But just be smarter. I mean, just too many turnovers. Get the pace up. Play your style of basketball. 3 games, they've played Boston's pace. Where is the energy to just run Boston out of the gym? Run. Conditioning. We have the bench. We have the numbers on the bench. They're running 7, maybe 8 guys. Get these guys into foul trouble. Force guys like Pritchard and Derek White that we were talking about earlier into the game earlier. Maybe get them into foul trouble, where Udoka's going to have to end up putting in guys that he's not used to, maybe a Tyus or somebody else. But they need to match the physicality and just be able to try to run Boston out of the gym. Just get them out of their game, out of their style of play, and prove to the association why we are still the best team in the NBA.
Bashar?
Yeah, I'd love to see that ball movement going again. I love the Warriors ball movement when it's on point. I think it's the best I've seen in my entire career as an NBA fan. I'm not trying to be biased either. I'm just wowed when I see it in pure form at times. But the rebounding would be nice. We'll definitely get those box out as much as possible and try to get the rebounds. We sucked this game in terms of rebounds. And again, I'd like to see the bench used a whole lot more, strength in numbers. That's one of the team's slogans, but they didn't use it tonight. So we'll see if we go back to that. That'd be nice. And that's about it, guys.
Yeah, basically, everyone just needs to play their role.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Last word from Dion.
Defense, and more defense. You got to be out there to be able to stop them, because you can go down and jack up as many threes as you want, but if you continue letting them score on the other end, it's not going to help. So you got to have that defense. You got to be ready for it. And you got to figure it out. There's no other choice. It's straight up defense. You got to play as tight of defense as you can, and then at the same time get some of their role players in foul trouble. If you can get Marcus Smart off the court, makes life that much easier. He's their best defender.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So work on the defense for the Warriors on their side of the ball, and on offense, get them into foul trouble. Hey, lean into people. Dirk Nowitzki used to kick people in the nuts and get a foul call for himself. Y'all got to figure out something.
Yep.
It won't fly anymore, but different game back then.
Yeah, it won't fly no more. But yeah, back in the day, he used to kick people in the balls, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's a foul, he gets a shot."
2016. All you got to say to that.
Yeah.
What about you, Brandon?
I'm gonna agree with Dion as well. The defense needs to come back. There was no defense tonight at all. We got out rebounded for the first time all playoff series, and it needs to change. And we need to see way better from Draymond Green, because with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson going off like they did tonight, we should have easily won this game. Easily.
You lock them down on defense, you're going to end up running away with this by 10 or 15 for sure.
Yeah.
This didn't happen.
Yep.
All right. So who's the X factor in Game 4? In 2 seconds, Chris.
Jordan Poole.
Corey.
I'm gonna stay with Kevon Looney. I think Looney just needs to play better, get more putbacks, and I want to see those 15 to 18 rebounds again.
Bashar.
I'm gonna do the easy one. Well, it might not be easy. Who knows if he's hurt or not? But Steph Curry.
Dion.
Draymond. Period.
I say Jordan Poole. Brandon.
I say Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
I think Klay Thompson goes off next game.
Jordan Poole needs to go off. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah, he for sure does.
He needs to go off.
Yep.
What's up, Elias? See you in the chat.
All right. So before we leave, if you guys haven't yet already, hit that like, subscribe button. Locked In GSW podcast. We really appreciate it. We're trying to get to at least 100 subscribers. We're still growing over here, so we really appreciate that. If you haven't yet already, go over to our Twitter page. It's at GSW_podcast. And our Instagram page, spelled all the way out, Locked In GSW podcast. We're also on Twitch, twitch.tv, Locked In GSW podcast. You can also find us on TikTok, Locked In GSW podcast. We're also on there. And we have a Facebook page as well, Locked In GSW podcast. So that's about to do it for us tonight. We'll be back Friday night for Game 4. Hopefully they pull off a win, and we'll be here to go over the game for Game 4. Until next time, Dub Nation.
Go Warriors.
Go Warriors.
Go Dubs. Peace.
Dubs.